To help set the context for this presentation of a depiction of blackface in the 1927 film The Jazz Singer, which again is one of the very first talkies using sound, synchronized sound in a motion picture. The first thing I want to talk about is some recent reporting in the New York Times, which involved a professor showing film depicting blackface to a music class at the University of Michigan. Now, this gentleman, his name is Bright Sheng. You're seeing a picture of him here. He's born in China, moved to the United States after the Cultural Revolution in China, by the way, which if you look up Cultural Revolution in China, if you Google it, you'll see some pretty amazing things that'll make you shake your head at the least, because it was a government pushed and sponsored crackdown, Communist Party crackdown on intellectuals, different types of people who the leader of China, Mao Zedong, at the time thought would, I think, somehow threaten his society. And these people were treated about as shamefully as anyone could be treated, I think, pretty much. Anyway, this fellow lived through that as a child and then came to the United States. He's composed some very highly regarded music, and he's been a professor. He's a tenured professor. He has a special chair at the University of Michigan. This was a very advanced, high-level class of music majors, and I believe the topic was showing how music could be written for a film, for a drama. So the film he showed was a version of Othello, Shakespeare's play Othello, which was starring Laurence Olivier, which came out, I believe, in the 60s. Laurence Olivier was a very famous British actor. Some people regarded him as one of the finest actors ever, at least in the 20th century. He's sort of the opposite of Marlon Brando, James Dean, in the method acting school of, kind of mumbling and seeming to feel things. He was a very much of a stage actor, very, quote, dramatic, unquote, actor. He starred in Hamlet and lots of productions on the British stage. He also was in films like Wuthering Heights, made in the 30s here in the U.S., and had quite a film career. He's no longer with us. But for Othello, his choice to play it, and I believe he played it on the stage first, was to put on blackface and to change his hairstyle so that he came across as someone with some kind of African ancestry. And the play is about a black man. Othello is a black man. He's referred to as a Moor, M-O-O-R, in the play. Olivier was criticized at the time for choosing to do Othello this way. I guess what happened with this class, getting back to the music class, was the professor just put the film on. He didn't discuss blackface. He didn't set the stage, talk about the context of blackface, give any kind of opinion about it. He didn't warn the students he was going to show it. And him just showing this film without saying anything about blackface and what Olivier chose to do upset students. And as a result of it, he was asked to / volunteered to step back from teaching that particular class. I don't believe he's lost his tenure or anything like that yet. But this is the kind of thing that can happen when a teacher gets into sensitive territory and perhaps hasn't handled it as carefully as he might. So I'm trying to handle this as carefully as I can, making sure that you guys know that I think blackface is deplorable. It's racist. It's shameful. It's a shameful example of white people's behavior in the past. And we see examples of it still today, don't we? We see people who do Halloween costumes or get dressed up for parties and think it's funny to darken their skin color with some kind of makeup. Okay, so it's terrible behavior. But again, only by, I think, confronting it and looking at it, shining the light on it. We're going to do what newspaper investigative reporters do. We're going to shine a light on it so everyone can see it for how ugly it is. And why are we shining a light on it? Because it is part of the history of our country primarily. These minstrel shows and things that went on in the 19th century and into the 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century. And we need to confront our history. Only by confronting it will we fix it and be better. It's also part of the history of film. So this film, The Jazz Singer, at one point was cited as the first talkie sound film, but I guess there was another one that happened in 1926. But anyway, I'm showing you this. You're going to watch a video. I think it was produced by Sunday Morning, CBS's show, talking about blackface, setting in context. And then you're going to watch the 2 or 3 minute song performance of Al Jolson in The Jazz Singer. And then we'll move on from there.